I am throwing my hat in the ring to run against incumbent Bill Cassidy. He has gotten over $9 million from Big Ag, Big Pharma. Basically, my goal is to support Bobby Kennedy in his role as HHS secretary in however it is that I can, in the best ways possible. So I actually campaigned, I was one of the Louisiana state leads for Bobby Kennedy Jr. In fact, I was so passionate about it that I took $40,000 out of my retirement account, and I got yard signs. I got yard signs and bumper stickers out to everyone that I possibly could, I appreciate the time and the support and the encouragement. Very, very much so.
Of course, I would love to put all my weight behind you. So for my audience, this is Sarah Kimball Grunblatt. She is running for U.S. Senate in Louisiana, and she's trying to replace Bill Cassidy. So Sarah, introduce yourself. Tell us who you are, your background, your platform, and the reasons that you're running for Senate.
Sure, absolutely. Thank you so much. So yes, as Scarlett was just saying, I am doing something I never expected to do in my life. I am throwing my hat in the ring to run against incumbent Bill Cassidy. So I am from Louisiana. I have lived here my entire life. I am, a former teacher. I taught in Title I schools for a decade. During COVID, I was actually working 3 full-time jobs, just really busy trying to make things happen. And lately, I've been staying at home. Actually, I'm working on a doctorate in Christian leadership. And during Bobby Kennedy's campaign, I got very, very, very involved. And for the first time in my life, I did not vote Republican. I have always been a registered Republican voter, and this is Louisiana. We are a deep red Republican state. Bill Cassidy is a deep red Republican. He's been here for a long time. In fact, when I was doing some research, I noticed that he graduated from medical school the year that I was born. So, and I'm 41 years old. So just FYI, he's been around and he is well established, and he is quite daunting, competitor to go up against. And so on that note, in the research that I've been doing, Scarlett had mentioned, some of the, I don't like to say corruption, but there's not another word for it. Some of the corruption that we are trying to do away with. And Bill Cassidy in his campaign, last I looked, he has gotten over $9 million from Big Ag, Big Pharma, and those kinds of things. And I have not. So we have quite a challenge against us that Scarlett is hopefully going to be able to help me with, to get the word out and those kinds of things. Scarlett, did you have anything that you wanted to add about Cassidy or anything else?
I know you don't want to say corruption, but it is what it is. He is deeply corrupt. And by the way, so if you are looking to oust any corrupt incumbent in any state, look these guys up. They specialize in getting corrupt incumbents out and coaching and promote challengers.
Really? How this journey sort of came about for me. So I voted for Bobby Kennedy for the presidential election and went non-Republican for the first time in my entire life. And that is because that as I researched who Bobby Kennedy is, as far as his walk with Christ, I felt that he was the best candidate. Previously, I had voted for Trump twice. And so I actually campaigned, I was one of the Louisiana state leads for Bobby Kennedy Jr. In fact, I was so passionate about it that I took $40,000 out of my retirement account, and I got yard signs. I got yard signs and bumper stickers out to everyone that I possibly could, which ended up turning into me into one of the volunteer coordinator leads of about 300 different volunteer teams. Just, we were trying to get the word out about Bobby everywhere that we could. And since then, like I said, I'm in my early 40s right now. And so I'm just becoming more and more politically involved because I'm seeing how much politics, like it or not, how much politics really do affect everything. And I feel that it is our responsibility to be involved. I don't in good conscience feel that I can be uninvolved. I just think that it's too important, and I think that the world that we are trying to leave to our children is too important to just let the same old people that have been doing this forever. You know, those people with $9 million from big ag and big pharma, like Cassidy, to keep kind of doing the same things and selling out our children and those kinds of things. And one of the big things that I've been really excited about that Bobby Kennedy has been doing, which I basically my goal is to support Bobby Kennedy in his role as HHS secretary, however it is that I can, in the best ways possible, because I voted for him. Like I said, I took money out of my retirement to support him. I really think he's doing very, very important things. Like one of the things that they've recently been discussing is chronic disease prevention. So, unlike Cassidy, and I said, as I mentioned, he graduated from medical school in 1983, which was the year that I was born. Well, I graduated with my MPH, so my Master of Public Health, from LSU in 2023. And I'm saying that because it really helps people to understand our differing mindsets and perspectives of things. Cassidy is a doctor and he has gone through the medical system. His wife is a surgeon. I know that Cassidy was an internist. I don't remember if he was a surgeon as well. He probably was. Point being, he has gone through the system for a very long time, for 40 years now, and it has worked for him. And he has, in the past year, like I said, $9 million to show for it, and who knows how many millions in previous years from there. So my perspective is not that of a doctor. My perspective is not that of someone who is a part of the system, who has paid into the system, is now trying to reap the rewards from the system. Mine is from the perspective of someone with a master of public health, meaning I am looking at the population. I'm not looking at individual people. I have beliefs and stances about that Scarlett and I can, talk about on other episodes, but I'm looking at populations as a whole. And we took an entire class on chronic disease, and our professor was explaining to us all of the facts and figures about why it is the public health epidemic that is happening right now. In fact, literally this morning on social media, I saw that in the United States, chronic diseases, and childhood obesity is a chronic disease, has surpassed children being underweight for the first time in history. And so I
Mhm.
say that to explain that it's bad and it's only getting worse. And we need to do something about that. Scarlett, do you have any
Mhm.
thoughts about chronic disease or anything else that I've said that you want to chime in?
Well, I have lots to say, but I want to applaud your effort. I got to know you during the campaign, and I remember my very first box of yard signs were from you. It was so exciting. You cannot imagine like the excitement I felt, because I was a complete newbie to politics, and I was trying to do some good to push the greatest candidate of all times to the apex of power, because he was the only one who was trying to save my children, and you were the first one to get us the merge to
Yeah, I
this
wasn't
train.
playing.
It was like love at first sight, to be honest, Sarah. So yeah, I was just so taken by your passion and your commitment. And when I found out you were running for Senate, especially you were running to replace the corrupt Bill Cassidy, my passion, my support, my excitement was just through the roof. I could not resist just contacting you right away to express my support for you. So yes, so we are on the same page. We support Bobby Kennedy, which that he was the primary reason I started this podcast. I want to educate the peers about gold standard science. I want to educate my peers that Bobby Kennedy is not what the media says he is. He is all for science.
Yes.
He's not a conspiracy theorist who's trying to undermine the scientific method. He's there to restore the scientific method. So, yes, so that's my take. And I would do everything in my meager power to support your candidacy. I will try to spread the word everywhere I can. So,
Absolutely. I also made quite a few fast friends, and you're definitely one of them, Scarlett, as a result of that campaign. That actually made me want to tell a little bit about the story of I feel like this is turning into a Bobby Kennedy love fest, but one of the things I didn't say earlier, because I try not to sound full of myself, but besides the MPH that I have seven master's degrees,
That's
and the only
incredible.
reason I'm saying that is because when Bobby Kennedy taught me something about my own field, so I thought I was an expert in my own field. That's what
Mhm.
made me realize, oh, this is a guy that I need to be paying attention to. And to kind of explain the story, so um, I don't even know if he had declared his candidacy yet, but Bobby was doing a town hall and he was talking about long term vaccine safety. And this is a hot topic, and we will have to talk about this another time. But long term vaccine safety, Bobby is actually absolutely correct in that it hasn't been studied. And what we're talking about with the scientific method, with being pro science, which Bobby is very much pro science, doggone it. Um, we're talking about not looking at the short term. We're not talking about looking at did the person not get the flu, or did the person, did whatever they have go away, or whatever. We're talking 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, however many years, decades after the fact that they got whatever the vaccine is. Are they having adverse health effects? Meaning, sure, okay, they didn't get chickenpox, but they became paralyzed somehow. Some kind of adverse effect from the vaccines. That's a very big deal, and I had never thought about it until Bobby pointed that out. And so once he pointed it out, I was like, oh, okay, this is the guy. If this gentleman can teach me something about my own field, he is someone that I need to be watching and paying attention to. And just as Scarlett was saying, Bobby Kennedy is not now, nor has he ever been, anti science. He is very much pro scientific method. And so, meaning you ask a question, you do some research, you try and find out an answer. Nowhere is big ag or big pharma supposed to be involved in that process. Any kind of money, it's not supposed to be a part of the process. And part of science is questioning over and over and over and over again. Science is not something that we settle. Science is something that you question and you go back to, and you think about something new and you try something new, or you ask this new component, or whatever the case may be. It's never settled. And so you ask questions. That's how you advance our health, our lives, science, all of the above. Like the chronic disease that I was mentioning earlier. Okay, we know some of the ways that has risen to epidemic levels, but we need to do more research. We need to understand why that's a problem and how we can fix it. So, long story short, because I could go on about this forever, and
Yeah, me too.
just
Me
mRNA
too.
tech and all sorts of other things that we'll talk about another day. But basically, Scarlett, thank you so much for having me here and giving me just a little bit of time to talk and everything. And as she said at the beginning, my name is Sarah Kimball Grunblatt, and next year in 2026, I will be on the ballot for the U.S. Senate in Louisiana. So please, if you know of anyone who is in Louisiana, I ask that you tell them to vote for me. And there are currently two very important dates. The first one of which is April 18th. That is the primary, April 18th, 2026. That is the primary election. And then the main election will be on November 3rd of 2026. So those two very important dates. I can't get to November 3rd if I'm not voted for on April 18th. And Scarlett and I do plan to do more of these, to talk more in, quite a few detail about all kinds of different things, because we're very interested in a lot of the same things. And we hope we, find others in our little universe that is the online space that are also interested in some of the things that we have to say. But otherwise, again, I just ask that you hear us out. We're just trying to be open and honest. And Scarlett, again, thank you for your time today, and for having me here.
No problem. Yeah, I just want to add how even if somebody in the audience is not in Louisiana, you can still help. You can, I'm guessing you can volunteer, you can donate, you can just spread the word. Our online universe is free for all. You can post whenever, wherever, voice your support for Sarah and call out the corruption the conflict of interest of the incumbent, that is Bill Cassidy. He is a major roadblock to Maha. He is a major roadblock to everything Kennedy is trying to accomplish. So yeah,
He's the
support.
number one roadblock, from what I understand.
Yeah, he put in a lot of provisions before he agreed to support to confirm Kennedy's his appointment. So yes, so if you could tell us, Sarah, your where can people find you on social media, your
Yes.
website?
Yes, absolutely. So my website is, if, as long as you can spell my last name, it's very easy to find. It's grunblatt.com. And so that is GRUN as in Nancy, B as in boy, LATT.com. And if you would like to email me, my email is very easy. It's sarah@grunblatt.com. And on social media, on all social media, I am Sarah Grunblatt. I don't have the Kimball in there. I thought it was a little bit too much, but so on TikTok, on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on X, everywhere that you can find there is social media, I am there, and I am Sarah Grunblatt on all social media.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you so much for coming on. Have a great day.